Welcome back to the channel. This is No Luck Trucking. I'm Matt, and we have just completed our first round trip for this dedicated run that we got selected, offered, whatever. They reached out to us and asked if we wanted to do it. So it went very, very well. I really like the run. It's good. Apparently the last person, it fired off 2 times a week, so that would have been a nice cushy, just run those two runs round trip, call it a day. That would have been a fantastic week, especially if the rates were a little bit higher than what they are now. I mean, they're really good compared to the market right now, but I can only imagine what they were at one point, especially when the market was good. But we spent, obviously the first day that we were doing this run, we had no idea what we were doing. The agent had the wrong address on, so they were missing 1 digit. But we got here in enough time that we figured out where to go. And then we were just kind of like learning the process, because they gave us directions in the dispatch, but a lot of it wasn't right, to be honest. But I guess if they had a person doing this dedicated for 2 years, they didn't really have much to worry about, because the guy already knew what to do, and everyone already knew them. But we got talking to the people here. They're great people, super nice. And everyone was excited to have us on board as the new drivers. Yeah, so it took like the whole figuring out what to do and where to be, and where you're gonna get the paperwork and all the nitty gritty that kind of goes in with truck driving. So Liz and I always joke that this job is you're professionally perpetually lost. So you, like 9 times out of 10, you're going to places that you've never been before. You have no idea, where the office is, if there's going to be a guard shack. Do you stay in your truck? Do they bring paper out? Do you go in? Do they have a light system? So like there's so many questions, and like we've been doing it for almost 5 years now, so we kind of understand the process at a lot of places, or at least we know to ask the questions that we need answered to help us better follow their process, if you will. So it is a lot of just kind of like aimlessly wandering, but doing it with a purpose. And I don't know, it gets easier to be okay with being lost after doing it for a couple years. I can imagine the guys that have way more tenure than we do, it doesn't even faze them. They go wandering around until they find somebody. But it is odd that like the entire job, if you're over the road typically, is just kind of being lost, not knowing exactly where to go. You have to rely on directions, or calling the customers, satellite view, the whole deal of like where to be, your best guess on what entrance is the best to get there, things like that. And then of course when you start rolling to a place and you start seeing the signs of like truck entrance here or no trucks here, you kind of get an idea of where to go. But so far the run was good. It has just enough time in between the stops to get some rest, and then it's a turnaround and come right back. And the guy this morning, he cut the seal and then knocked on the cab, because we parked in front of the door that we were told to go to be unloaded. So we just parked in front of it and just went to sleep, and we got a couple hours of sleep before we were startled. Anytime anybody knocks on basically your wall of your house, and you're in deep sleep, you will get jolted awake very, very quickly. So we pulled ahead. He said, yeah, it'll be about an hour, and then we tried to go back to sleep. And he's like, do you want me to come out and let you know when I'm done, or you just want to stay here? He's like, you're tired, he's like, you can stay in front of the door as long as you need, just go back to sleep, you know, I won't bother you. I was like, cool, yeah, we'll just assume you're done after a few hours. And when we wake up later, our next pickup is within walking distance. So we walked over there to figure out where they wanted us to stage the trailer so that we could leave the door, because I just couldn't get restful sleep sitting in front of the door thinking at any point, you know, they're gonna wake us up and say, hey, we need this door or something like that. Or there was a guy that was backing in next to us. He had a Freightliner, so every time he hit the brakes, you know, it honks like a goose. You know, anybody that's heard Freightliner aero trucks backing up, you know the sound. So it just wasn't like restful sleep, and always just waiting to get that knock on the door to ask you to move right when we get to sleep. So we wanted to drop the trailer, and now we're over in this auxiliary lot where it's peaceful. We were here on Tuesday, just out of the way. It was great. Like, there is a road behind us, but you don't hear any of it, especially over the APU. And yeah, it's not bad. So for this, they started sending us over the dispatches for the rest of this month. So we have a triangle going for about a month and a half, I think, almost 2 months. So we're trying to secure, there's a third part to get us back up into Maryland, and we're trying to secure that. There's 2 options for LTL freight that's coming back up here, and we've been kind of picking them, but apparently both lanes have like a dedicated driver. But we're picking up scraps that are on the load board. We might need to fill in the blanks with a few of them, but overall, this run and the one that's taking us down to North Carolina, that one's, they pay really well. So we just need to fill in something that gets us close to Maryland, and we'll be solid. Maybe we can get in with one of the agencies and get on it dedicated. I don't know. But yeah, so far, man, we always said that we didn't really care for like a dedicated route, just because after doing the same thing for so long, it just kind of feels like you're working a normal job. But right now, with the way the rates are, these 3 loads that we booked are significantly higher than anything else that's on the load board. They're very efficient with our time, and we're able to, like, so when we get to Greensboro, we're gonna drop the trailer for them to unload it. We're gonna head over to Walmart to restock. Last night we stopped in, not Hurricane. What was the city that we stopped in? Okay, yeah, it was Hurricane. Yeah, we stopped in Hurricane and grabbed a shower. So we're figuring out the intricacies of this run, of when we have time to, you know, showers are really important, restocking the groceries are really important, obviously finding the time to sleep in between these runs, which we found nice quiet place. We're figuring out where to drop for the next load. We were trying to chase the yard hustler around, but I don't know where he went. So we finally had to call the number that the agent gave us for FedEx and figure out where we should drop the trailer, because we couldn't find anybody to tell us where to stage it. So we dropped that. Now we're free and clear, can go to sleep, and we'll wake up. Actually, we pick up tomorrow. So we have the rest of the day today, and then we have until tomorrow to figure out where to check in and who gives us paperwork and all the details of that one. But that was going to be a consistent run as well. So once we figure it out the first time, I think we'll be golden. The other loads taking us back up to Maryland and Pennsylvania, we've done those already, so we kind of know what the deal is there. So that shouldn't be too bad. Just need to finish this. But yeah, just being perpetually lost, you know, it just kind of comes with the job. It gets a little easier with time, but the feeling never changes that you never know exactly where you're going unless you've been to the places before. But you know, that doesn't happen too often unless you find some dedicated stuff, or you know, eventually you will start going back to the same places, but it doesn't happen very often. So just kind of wanted to give an update on our dedicated stuff. We can't film anything about it, and they don't want us to discuss load details or anything like that, so we can't really talk too much detail about it. So on the days that we're doing those, probably just gonna get talking videos about whatever's happening in our life, or whatever's going on in the trucking world, you know, stuff like that. But I think we're gonna end it here. Just be a short video, just a little update, and we will pick up tomorrow because that's a normal freight of all kind. So it shouldn't be anything. No stipulations on that one. So thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.